5.5 point slope form of a linear equation. All right, now we wrote our formulas down on our card, and point slope form right here is what we're working with today. So the first thing you have to do for today's lesson, number one, find the slope, which is m, if it isn't given to you. So then after you have the slope, either you have to find it using y minus y over x minus x, or sometimes it's just given to you. After that, you have the slope. Number two, then, you need to substitute numbers into y minus y1 equals m times the parenthesis x minus x1, point slope form. The numbers that you will substitute in are obviously the m, okay, either you had to figure it out or it was given to you, so you'll substitute the m in. And then it's minus this y1. So you'll pick an ordered pair. Sometimes you will only have one ordered pair. Sometimes you will have two ordered pairs. And it doesn't matter which one you pick. You take an ordered pair and you put the y in for the second y here, because we don't want to mess with this first y because it's already positive. We want to leave that one alone. So we're going to substitute the y in here out of the ordered pair and the x in here out of the ordered pair. All right, so after we substitute numbers in, number three, the third thing we will do then is do the distributive property. Okay, and there's only one thing here to do on the distributive property, m times whatever this is, and m times this. All right, so then you'll bring it down to that. And then the final thing is, number four, solve for y, this first y right here. We'll solve for y, get that all by itself, solve for y, so that our final answer is y equals mx plus b form. So there's basically 4 steps to the problems today. If the slope isn't given to us, we find it. Then we substitute numbers in. All right, we'll substitute a number here, here, and here. There's 3 numbers we'll have to substitute in. Do the distributive property, and then solve so it's y equals mx plus b. All right, let's practice. Write the point slope form of the equation of the line that passes through 1 and 1, 5 and 3. Now, do we know our slope? So number one, do we have our slope or do we have to find the slope? This one we have to find our slope. So we will, x, y, I love to label mine. So 1 minus 3 over 1 minus 5 equals what? What over what? When I simplify this, what's 1 minus 3? Good. 1 minus 5? Simplify that, I get a -1 over -2. Am I done? No, because what is a negative over a negative? So it's just a positive 1/2. And what did we just solve for? That is my what? My m, my slope. Perfect. All right, so we did number one. We have our slope. Number two, now we have to substitute numbers in. Let's just go with let's use the 5 and the 3, okay? We'll use that one first. And I believe on your notes you have this written off to the side also, correct? Right, so now we know this first y stays the same. We don't substitute anything in for that. We don't substitute anything in for this first x. That stays the same. So y minus, what's my y that we're going to use here? 3. So y minus 3 equals, what's my slope? 1/2 times x minus, what's my x that we're going to use? 5. Alright, so now we substituted our numbers. Now number 3, we have to do what? The third step was the distributive property. So there's nothing to do on the left side. We just bring down our y minus 3. That stays the same. But now I need to do my distributive property. What's 1/2 times x? Yep, 1/2 x. Now what's 1/2 times a negative 5? Well, positive times a negative is a negative, so we know it's going to be negative. And multiplying is fun because we don't have to have a common denominator. 1/2 times 5 over 1 equals 2. I would take, and then we know already it's negative, so a negative 5 over 2 I would take, or a negative 2.5, either one. Alright, so now we've done the distributive property. Step 4 is to do what? Solve for the y. So we need to get this all by itself, so it's easy. Just one more step. Who wants to take a guess at what it might be? Right. And I like how she said, because this is minus 3, so add 3. She said add the 3 to the negative 2.5. Because when I was looking at some worksheets, I was finding out, trying to figure out what you guys are doing wrong, and you're trying to add this 3 to a 1/2 x. These are not what kind of terms, this 3 and this 1/2 x. Nice. Yes, they are not like terms. You cannot put the 3 with this 1/2 x. It doesn't have an x. We have to put the 3 with the number 2.5. This is negative. So therefore y equals, do we have to do anything to the 1/2 x? Nope, so bring that down. I do have to simplify this, however. A negative 2.5 and a positive 3. Well, you could probably do that in your head. What would you get? Is it a fight or no fight? Fight. Who wins? The positive 3, so I know it's going to be plus something. How much? Positive 3 is bigger by how much?
1.
By 1?
1/2.
And if you're not sure, think of it as money. You have $2.50 and $3. $3 is bigger by how much? By $0.50, by 50 cents. Or we can go over here and we can do, if we left this in, we'd have a minus 5 over 2. This is a positive 3 over 1. What denominator has to be changed?
2.
The 1 or the 2? Which one of these denominators? The 1 has to become a 2. So 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6. So this is a positive 6, and I have a negative 5 over 2 here. Good, now I've got my denominator, so I have a negative 5 and a positive 6. That gives me what? 1 over, my denominator stays the same. See, so we still end up with our 1/2. And then that's your final answer, y equals mx plus b form, right there. Now let's do the other one, because on the front side you have to do 2 of them. You have to do both ordered pairs. Get some room here. So off to the side you have room. Let's just rewrite this now. So we have already our same slope. So y minus what? Now we're going to use the 1 and the 1. Y minus 1 equals? Okay, what is my m? Yep, 1/2 times the parentheses. Good, x minus 1. Now I need to do what? Yep, distributive property. So this stays the same, y minus 1 on this side. What's 1/2 times x?
Half x.
Yep. What's 1/2 times a negative 1? A negative half. Anything times 1 is itself, so 1/2 times a negative 1 is just, instead of 1/2, it's a negative 1/2. Okay? Now I have to do one last step, solve it for y equals, so I have one last thing to do, and that is what?
Add 1 to the negative 1/2.
I add 1 to both sides, and you said add it to the negative 1/2. I agree. So my final slope-intercept form is y equals what? That runs down 1/2 x. And what's a negative 1/2 and a positive 1? Fight or no fight? Who wins? Positive by how much? By 1/2. So notice, doesn't matter which ordered pair we use. When we get it down, see that? When we get it down into slope-intercept form, they are identical. Okay? Questions on that example right there? We'll do one more before we get started, but any on this? You sure? You have a question, somebody else has it, don't be afraid. Good, what is it?
Okay, so like when you add it to both sides, why don't you add it to the m too?
Okay,
The,
what do you mean? When I, like right here, are you talking?
Yeah.
So like when I add 3 to both sides, why don't I do what now?
why don't you add it to the other one with the x next to it?
Because they're not like terms. If this had an x, then I'd have to put these together, okay? But this doesn't have an x, so I can't put it with the x. I can only put it with the number. Like terms, they have to be identical in order to combine them together. We can multiply them, but we can't add or subtract with combining like terms.
You know how like right there it says y minus 1 right there?
Yep.
Yeah. No, up there.
Here?
Yeah. What if like it was a 0?
But if it was a 0,
Yeah.
then life would be easy. Y minus 0? You even really need to put anything there then? We could plus 0 to the other side, but it's not going to change it. So we would almost be like less a step then. It would be done after we distribute it. Yep, good question. Any others?
So like what is the fraction times the other fraction? Like if it's in the parentheses, it's like really long number.
Then you have to put that down there. Yep, just do the fraction work and bring it down. All right, let's practice. Did we just do this one? No, we didn't do -6 and 8. Okay, here we go. Number 1, find the slope. Do we have to solve for the slope or is it given to us? All right, the first step is already done for us. They're telling us that our slope is a -1. So let's just go through and substitute. Do I have 2 ordered pairs to pick from? Yes or no?
Yes.
Really?
Wait, no.
No, they only give me 1 point. Can I still go about my work here and do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just give me 1 point. I don't have to pick. They just give me one. There's no choosing. I'll just use the one they gave me. So, what do I write? Start me out. Y minus 8 equals -1, because that's my slope.
Plus 6.
Oops.
X
-1 times the parenthesis.
X plus 6.
X, why are you saying plus 6? It's a -6.
Because it says minus and minus 6.
Right, because it's -6, which you guys were on the ball ahead of me. A negative times a negative is a +6. All right? Okay, step 2 done. Step 3, what do we need to do? Distributive property. So bring this side down. Y minus 8 equals, what's -1 times x? A -1x. What's -1 times a +6? Plus or minus 6? Ooh, I'm hearing different. What's a positive times a negative? A negative, so it is -6. One last final thing is to do what? Add 8, so that disappears here. Y equals, what do I add 8 to?
6.
A -6. So I bring down my -1x and I get what here? Yep, +2, +2. And there's your final slope-intercept form. this is what your worksheet looks like today. You don't need to rewrite the formulas here on the top. That's just a waste of time. You already have those written on that little card. Then, here, these three, 1, 2, and 3, all you have to do is find the slope by y1 minus y2 over, oops, should be y2, 1, minus x2. That was kind of sloppy.
You can't do slope intercept.
All you have to do is find the slope for 1, 2, and 3. All right? On the rest of them, I want you to solve it all the way down to y equals mx plus b. So for the rest of them, follow your 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. All right? Now on your worksheet, I have these already filled in for you using the ordered pairs on the graph. This one isn't filled in, but you just get the ordered pairs off of these. You get 3 and 0, you'll write that one here, and you write 3 and 2 down here. That's the front. The back of the worksheet, same thing. Write an equation. Aha, this is pretty simple. They give you the slope, and here's your x and y. Follow your steps, 1, 2, 3, 4 for all of those. On the back, I just want you to do 19 through 21. Those you have to find the slope, so you have to do all 4 steps again. All right, but this one you're going to have to find your slope, substitute, distribute, and then y equals.